The 25th and final season Pokémon Ultimate Journeys seem to have perfectly wrapped up over 25 years of adventures to our main protagonist Ash Ketchum. Fast forward a couple of months later and we got the 12-episode epilogue miniseries dedicated to giving Ash one final moment in the spotlight. But was it really necessary? Did it tie up any loose threads? Or was it just a nostalgia-driven piece thrown into the mix so the wait until Pokémon Horizons would be easier for the fandom? Well, I've watched it, so I'm here to yap about it. Let's go. From the start, we see it present itself as Ash's special, the title latching itself onto the protagonist's main goal for the past 2.5 decades, to become a Pokémon Master, something that was brought up once again in one of the last episodes of this miniseries by Gary, congratulating Ash for becoming the world champion and asking him if he now feels closer to his Pokémon Master goal, leaving him with a sour taste in his mouth, leading to him having a conversation about it with Pikachu under a tree whilst sheltering from the rain. Ash tells his fluffy body that becoming a champion was not that much on par with his goal. For him, becoming a Pokémon Master means befriending every Pokémon in the world. This 12-episode adventure takes Ash and puts him together for most of it with his original traveling buddies, Misty and Brock, the last joining in the second episode whilst Brock jumps in as well in the third alongside a small cameo from Ceylon. In the course of this series we see Ash juggling with different teams per each episode. In the first we see Buizel, Sceptile, Noivern and Donphan, whilst in the fourth one we see Snorlax, Incineroar, Talonflame and Oshawott. It's nice to see the inclusion of almost every one of Ash's Pokemon in this final piece, counter the trend with this one, bringing stuff from the past to dilute sense or as a gesture of remembrance. I'm talking about the reunion with Ash's Cold Squirtle in the fourth episode where it and its Squirtle gang became firefighters, but also because of Team Rocket's money-driven mentality, some weird Power Rangers knockoffs. Or in episode 11, the most unexpected return, Ash's Pidgeot. That loose thread, I'm so glad they cleared up. Ash just left Pidgeot, promising to come back after it. What an asshole. These in my opinion are one of the only high points of the episodes. There is no destination, it is really that saying, it's not a destination, it's the journey. But there really is no destination in the first place. They fool around a bit and towards the end, I think episode 10, they just say, yeah, let's go home now. This was causing them to feel like filler episodes, like the one with the Galarian Slowking in Journeys. They are not bad, they are just bland, story-wise. Fortunately though, there is some kind of a story element. In the first episode, Ash encounters an injured Latias and threads its wounds. Latias then appears at the end of each episode invisible in the sky, kind of like remembering the audience that its encounter is still important. It becomes actually relevant again in episode 10, where we find out Latios is captured by Pokemon Hunter, so they fight to set it free. It just felt like one of those Pokemon movies where they focus on a random Pokemon and all the action in it is inconsequential to that series plot and could be very well overlooked, like the one with Victini or Hoopa or Arceus or Giratina. The only good ones are the first 4 ones plus the I Choose You movie, which might just be the best one of them all because it actually shows us something different, a different timeline. One thing I adore on the other hand is the implication of Team Rocket. They were kind of pulled away from the spotlight in Journeys, their appearances being constantly more scarce as the series went on, but in to be a Pokemon Master, they were absent in only 3 episodes out of 12. Better than the straight than mine in school, I mean. They have ingenious traps built in order to capture Ash and his Pikachu. They even get sent a present from Mr. Giovanni, all of their captured Pokemon, which they use to devise a plan to capture the fluffy yellow mouse, and it almost works. But plot armor comes into fruition once again. Episode 12 is the final episode of this miniseries, but it's not related to our main protagonist's adventure, since it ties into the timeline developed by the I Choose You movie. Episode 11 ends up being the conclusive one for Ash's story as we know it. So I'll be talking about the 12th one first, Distant Blue Sky, since that makes logical sense, and then save the actual ending for dessert, as they say, the rainbow in the Pokemon Master. The episode starts off with Ash swimming in a river until Gyarados attacks him, gets his buddy Pikachu saves him. Afterwards, Ash has a brief battle with a kid named Lan, where Pikachu defeats Lan's Machamp. Later, Ash learns from his mother that his father is in Tonari Town, prompting him to set off to meet him. Very interesting, a mention of Ash's dad, too bad it's in a parallel universe. Ash sleeps in the forest on the way, and when he wakes up he realizes his Pikachu is gone. A boy named Sunny notices Ash is looking for something and tells him that he saw some weird looking dressed people kidnap his Pikachu. With his help, they rescue the little fluffy mouse. Sunny says he loves Pokemon, but he has never touched one, which raised a couple of question marks. They end up at the house whilst gathering orange berries and meet a couple. So ensue. When Ash is about to tell them that he and his buddy Sunny are just looking for berries, Sunny suddenly disappears, a recurring theme throughout this episode. Later on, Ash helps Sunny retrieve his favorite hat from a group of Mankey, but when he goes to deliver it to the boy, he disappears once again. Ash is spotted by the married couple and they are stunned to see the cap in Ash's hand, demanding an explanation because they say it was one of their deceased son, Sunny. So we learn that Sunny is a ghost. He needed Ash's help to connect with his family in some way. He told Ash looking through the house's mirrors, which painting was his favorite, and Ash told that to the father. In Ash's last meeting with Sunny, he helps the boy experience touching a Pokemon through his aura before disappearing. Ash leaves the forest, reflecting on the lessons learned from Sunny and Sue. In Tonari Town, Ash misses his father. I knew it was too good to be true. Them actually showing us Ash's dad. But he receives a new hat from him. His mom feeds Ash and even shares the croquettes with the disguised Team Rocket. Despite feeling sad, the next morning Ash continues his journey, excited about a possible encounter with Entei. A nice little special episode to put an end to Ash's secondary timeline. Nothing to complain about it, it's actually great. Now, for the big boy event, Ash's primary timeline ending. Over 25 years of build-up, adventures and journeys led to this point. Let's go. The last episode starts off with Ash, Misty and Brock parting ways, each returning to their respective hometowns. Ash arrives in Pallet Town, where his mother welcomes him warmly. He takes a bath and eats dinner. Some nice and chill activities that you usually hear at the end of stories, as the whole plot concludes and the hero takes a breath of fresh air. This episode obviously hints at that. During dinner, Ash shares stories of his travels with Misty and Brock. That night, Ash also reminisces about Lattes and Latios before falling asleep. The very next morning, Ash's mother tells him to visit Professor Oak's lab, and insists he wear a new pair of shoes she got him, which he decides to put on hold. At the lab, Ash meets Tracy and learns that the Charmander is missing. After search, Pikachu finds Charmander in a small cave. Gear helps Ash rescue the little guy. Gear also chats with Ash a bit, congratulating him on his Master's 8 tournament victory, and poses a thought-provoking question about Ash's progress towards becoming a Pokemon Master, the one I talked about earlier in this video, leaving Ash deep in thought. Ash spends the next few days enjoying his mother's cooking and spending time with his Pokemon at Oak's lab. Meanwhile, Jesse, James and Meowth are working at Team Rocket HQ's cafeteria and are not speaking to each other. They later decide to reconcile and work together again, planning to capture Pikachu in Viridian Forest. They succeed initially but are thwarted by Ash's Pidgeot, who helps free Pikachu. Ash reunites with his long-left bird, inviting it to join him again in his fellow journeys. The following day, Ash ventures out a clear destination, stacking his thoughts. A rainstorm leads Ash and Pikachu to seek shelter, where Ash reflects on Gary's question. He concludes that becoming a Pokemon Master is about befriending every Pokemon. After the rain, Ash expresses his wish for Pikachu to stay by his side on this journey. The next morning, Ash sets out wearing the new shoes his mom gave him, leaving again on a new path with Pikachu. I absolutely love this episode. It's chill and that's the perfect way to end a long journey. For the audience, it was the last time seeing Ash. Tying the Pidgeot loose thread was amazing, and how the atmosphere of it being just a plain day in Ash's life felt like a perfect ending. I much more prefer this rather than it being an explosive and intense one. Also, the metaphor of the boots, that in the beginning Ash wasn't ready to say goodbye to his 25-year-old adventure, but when he finally decides to put on a new pair of shoes, hanging the old ones as a means of retiring, suggesting that the journey was over. And even if he puts on a new pair of shoes for a new adventure, it isn't one for the audience to see. Beautiful. To answer the question posed by the title to y'all, I think it was necessary, but not in whole. I felt like this could have worked miles better as a movie, since the middle part felt way too much like filler. The Latias and Latios storyline was nice, but it all could have been squished up into a movie. Removing a lot of the filler parts seemed to have presented itself as a much better ending, but that's just my opinion. The final episode is amazing, so you could honestly just watch that one. It's connected to the rest very little. I also prefer the Rainbow and the Pokemon Master ending way better than the Ultimate Journeys one, because this was Ash's ending. That one was also Go's and Chloe's, but this one is actually just Ash's, the main protagonist for the last 25 years of the franchise. The person that probably made us fall in love with the franchise, even though he was a real prick in the beginning. But yeah, Ash went on a new journey. He has to catch every Pokemon to befriend them, even though in over 25 years he didn't even catch the first 151, so it's gonna take a bit of time, yeah, but you know, but we're cheering for him, because he's a master of time. I mean, bro's 18 years old for over a quarter of a decade. I think he has the time.